Hello, this is the Lord's Legion yet again, and welcome back to The Lord Speaks. And in this video, I want to share my thoughts on the new Avengers film. And no, this isn't about the Infinity War, I'm talking about the Avengers 4. Which, the way I see it, is going to be a whole new trilogy with a whole new set of Avengers. And just to get out the way, this is all my ideas and speculations and how I would set this whole film down when it comes down to the Avengers team themselves, as well as the villains, and what kind of take I would go with this. Now, what is completely set in stone is the fact that Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe will be completely different to the other phases that came beforehand. And with that being said, that means that they're going to be focusing more on the newer characters in the MCU as opposed to your traditional Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, or maybe even the Hulk for that matter. So essentially characters like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, maybe even Ant-Man will gain a lot more of a pushover for Phase 4 and onwards. So if they're going to push all these new characters for future films, eventually they're gonna have to set them up for the new Avengers film. Because as you all know, the Avengers makes the most amount of money in the MCU film wise, and if you're gonna put all these new characters into an Avengers film, then everyone's gonna know who these characters are. And with all the newer characters and side characters in the MCU, I have narrowed it down to all the characters who I think should be in the new Avengers team. So first of all, it's a no-brainer, I pick Black Panther, and in my humble opinion, I think that this character should be the team leader. Because not only is the fact that he is a very calm and strategic character, but he also has experience of leadership due to the fact that he is the king of Wakanda. And out of everyone in the new Avengers team that I've picked, there's no one that's better fitting to be the team leader than Black Panther. Next we have Doctor Strange, and it's very fitting because he can be like the new replacement for Tony Stark. Not only because of his recklessness and the fact that he's very intelligent, but he is also a millionaire, so he can help with the resources for the new Avengers headquarters. And on top of all that, he has his background with the mystic arts, and even the MCU is really pushing this character into new highs. Also into the new Avengers, I would have Captain Marvel, who not only would be a new replacement for in the sense of being a powerhouse, but also the fact that she could complete the new Trinity of the MCU. The old Trinity consisting of Captain America, Iron Man and Thor, the new Trinity would consist of Black Panther, Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. And it also helps adding in some more diversity for the new team, so it's a win-win situation. Also added into the mix would be Spider-Man, and Spider-Man would be the soul of the new Avengers team. Spider-Man will be the type of character that would motivate the other Avengers due to the fact that he's very young and he has a pure heart. Also adding Spider-Man into the new Avengers would just make a whole lot of money altogether, because you know, it's Spider-Man. Next, I would add Ant-Man into the team because despite how he's been in the MCU longer than almost anyone else in the team, he is still a relatively new character, and he also has a few other films that will be arriving in Phase 4. And plus Ant-Man is a huge member of the Avengers in the comics, so it makes sense to add him into this team. And following up, I would also have the Wasp in there as well because she is a fan favourite and a lot of people have been dying to see this character on the big screen for a very long time. And sure, we had glimpses of the Wasp in the original Ant-Man film, people want to see the Wasp done right and in the Avengers team, so why not put her into this team as well? And finally, I would also add in the Scarlet Witch because I honestly think she has the most potential to sticking around after Phase 3. She's been in an MCU for a little while, however still a fresh face, and not only that, her powers hasn't been fully developed yet, so it makes perfect sense for having her and Doctor Strange team up together. Plus, she's already been in the core Avengers, so she can set a good example on how to be an Avenger for the rest of the characters. And before anyone asks, why haven't I included Bucky as the next Captain America into this Avengers team, is mainly because I would save this character for the sequel, and not only because that he would need more time to take up that mantle, but also the fact that you really need to push all these new characters already established into the new Avengers team first, before having an established idol like Captain America in the sequel. And as for the original Avengers team, they've all parted their own ways and doing different things. Tony Stark is now the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., while Captain America is trying to help Bucky in taking up the mantle, Thor is now the king of Asgard, Hulk is now cured, Black Widow's probably on the run, Hawkeye's retired, and Vision is probably still dead after the events of the Infinity War. Now in this film, the dynamics of this team of Avengers will be sort of similar to the original in the sense that they can't work as a team. However, this doesn't entirely mean it's because they have clashing ideologies in comparison to one another, as they've probably already helped each other in Infinity War, but more in the sense of the fact that they can't even hold a candle in comparison to the original Avengers. So it's up to them to really motivate themselves into really becoming the Avengers. Now for this film, I would keep the stakes relatively low, like in comparison to the other Avengers films at least, because this is a whole new set of Avengers that have not really done anything like this before. So in terms of villains, I've got at least 3 villains for this film that will all be tied together. So for starters, I would reintroduce A.I.M and have them become like a new Hydra of sorts. Now obviously they're not going to be as evil as Hydra, however A.I.M is more about profits, experiments, creating weaponry, and even create some armors. And A.I.M are going to be working behind the scenes in giving all sorts of villains some resources and what have you. Plus, I would have A.I.M as a recurring thing for future films in the MCU. And I would also add in M.O.D.O.K as the leader of A.I.M for this film, because M.O.D.O.K is surprisingly one of the few villains in the MCU that hasn't even been touched upon yet in any of the films. Plus, he's a villain that could hold his own against the Avengers. But for the main villain, I would have Thunderbolt Ross as the Red Hulk. And the reason why I want Red Hulk is because not only is he tied to the MCU quite a bit already with the Accords, but also because he can hold his own against all of the Avengers. Plus he can tie in his origin with A.I.M as well, which will make it all the more fitting. And I can understand that some people think that Red Hulk will be a bit too goofy for the MCU because he's just a Red Hulk. However, you can add into that by having some glow-in-the-dark veins from under his skin, so that the angrier he gets, the hotter he becomes. So over time he can melt some metal, burn some concrete, and could even set himself on fire. And not only that, Red Hulk would be an interesting villain because not only is he a more powerful Hulk in terms of strength and the additional abilities, but also the fact that Red Hulk himself is a lot more smarter and cunning. So Red Hulk's motivation for this film is based purely within the Sokovia Accords. As mentioned earlier, the old Avengers, they are now moving on, and now we have the new Avengers. And considering they're all rebelling against the Accords, which is still ongoing, Thunderbolt Ross decides to take matters into his own hands by making a deal with A.I.M. A.I.M also sees the new Avengers as threats, so they decide to go along with the deal with Ross. And Ross wants to have the powers of the Hulk, which could potentially destroy the new Avengers. And where Red Hulk fails, A.I.M and M.O.D.O.K decide to turn their backs on the Red Hulk by trying to kill him as well, because they could also see him as a potential threat. And in the final battle, Red Hulk has a new change of heart and helps the new Avengers defeat A.I.M and M.O.D.O.K. Finally realizing what he's done is wrong and that the new Avengers is saving the world properly, Red Hulk decides to give himself in, and if the new Avengers need his help in any way, shape or form, the Red Hulk will redeem himself by joining the new Avengers whenever it's necessary. And in the end credits scene, we get to see the remains of A.I.M continuing with their creations. We also get to see the Scientist Supreme working on the latest creation, which is a version of the Super Adaptoid, which is capable of mimicking any power of a superhuman. However, someone is interested in this new weapon, and as it's revealed, it is none other than Zemo himself, who had escaped prison after the event of Infinity War and has discovered about the existence of the new Avengers. Still holding a grudge against the Avengers, Zemo wants to use the Super Adaptoid, which is planting the seeds for the Masters of Evil, which will be led by Baron Zemo from behind the scenes, and will also be the villains I would use for the sequel. So this is how I would tackle the new Avengers film. If you really enjoyed this and like my ideas, please give it a like, and if I get enough people to like this video, then I will go more into depth on how I would tackle the sequel of the new Avengers. And if you have any ideas of your own on how you would tackle the new Avengers, please share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video, please take care and have a good one.